Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Nerd Chronicles. This is your host, Christian Paul speaking. Alright? This following episode here contains graphic content that may not be suitable for definitely children and some other viewers involved, which could involve graphic language, visual graphic content, and or both. Viewer discretion is advised. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we know when it comes with mathematics, probability, and statistics, we understand that there's theory, there's practicality, and there's an error rate in between. All right? So, again, theory and principle, right? And then you got practicality and reality, right? In similar words, and error rate in between. All right. Welcome to the Nerd Chronicles. Once again, this is your host, Christian Paul speaking. The socially awkward nerd is in the building right now. I just came back from downtown Times Square literally early today. I believe it was like early Monday at the time of this recording. January 30th at the time of this recording at the time. And I just learned something very deep, basically about forecasting. Earlier in the shorts, I was actually discussing more on forecasting in a bit, asking some basic questions. But I got schooled on like some real pure game by a dude that is actually well experienced up in the realms of Google for decades, right? And basically what he's actually schooled us on is that a lot of businesses, a lot of companies in various fields, various industries, mainly rely on forecasting in order to get the prediction in order rather than regression or classification, right? Now, with regression and classification, basically you have your predictors and your responders basically set up in that case, basically your training values and your testing values, literally the whole 9 yards, especially what you see up in Kaggle. But what's not shown, what Kaggle doesn't explain to you, right, or your forecasting vibes where there's no predictors, no responders literally involved when it comes to this whole ordeal. You have to literally create neural networks or create back tracing when it comes to machine learning in order to generate the predictions that you want, right? And more than likely, the predictions will have to be realistically within a couple days to weeks rather than months to years, right? So the longer that you have like a real longer expectation and like I want how well this trend and how well is my sales going to do over the next 3, 4, 5 years, your odds of actually getting a model with that is extremely slim. But if you want to try and get like some improvement within a couple of days, forecasting literally is the best way to go because I actually got my first crack at it like a while ago. And the predictions of the forecasting within like a couple years or so based on the yearly predictions is way off compared to the aggressive model that I've already done a while ago. I'll actually try to show you that in future videos to come. So with that, you'll be more realistic and a higher probability of actually presenting like a model that shows days, and you have to describe all the details on where the trend's going, why the spikes already are, understanding what types of graph that you're dealing with, so that you'll be able to explain to your clients, customers, business partners properly on how to actually handle these whole ordeals. And the number one thing that I did not forget about the whole ordeal when it comes to these explanations is that you technically work for that company and that business and how these businesses basically want and how these business folks really promote. You basically work for them. And they unfortunately do not work for you, because they expect you to basically know as much as you can, given all the stuff that you built up. And if they start relying on, hey, this is the best model to use, go check that out, and things really fail, you absolutely get canned right out the door. Unfortunately, right? So this is one of those things that I never even ever forgot. Whereas if you give like a more realistic approach and actually discuss how these peaks and valleys are going to the T and to the detail in elementary terms, so that folks understand, a lot of people will literally relate to you more. So I'm going to do my best to try to master forecasting the best way I know how. in future modeling and dig more deep into some of the models that he has done, so I could try to come up with some brand new ideas on how to build moving forward. I got some new things really coming down the pipe. It may take me some time, but I rather give you guys quality rather than quantity when it comes to stuff like this. It's about trying to make sure I actually give you the right material, make sure that it's actually thorough and more efficient and more practical, so that you'll be able to try to advance on with your day. You'll be able to have like a good idea of like how this data works and how these ordeals mainly come to pass. Will it guarantee be right? No, but at least you have an idea of basically where all the science and all the numerical computations mainly come from, right? And that's what I will intend to do moving forward. You know, I want to try and do everything I can to actually solve the problems of the viewers here up in YouTube here, you know, whether it's YouTube or any other streaming social media site, maybe Rumble, who knows. But I want to try and give you guys the most practical outcomes and to basically for you guys to present and make a firm decision, basically moving forward. Right, so that's what I intend to do. Let me try and dig up on some data with all this stuff in forecasting. All right, this is going to be a very, very, very interesting ordeal and possibly juicy ordeal, if you want me to actually say that as well. With that, Christian Paul is off, dealing with some coding once again and trying out some new software as usual. I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.